In this keynote, we will listen to the opinion of Professor Norbert Pachler from London University about his opinion concerning the School of the Future.
Okay, thank you very much for your invitation to join you today. Today is, of course, a very important day in England as well. Some of you will know that the Polish football team will visit Wembley this afternoon to play a rather important match. So there's lots about Poland in today's papers, but we haven't come together to talk about football, but we've come together to talk about the classroom of the future. And what I would simply want to do is get us to think a little bit about what it is that technology can offer that may make the educational experience for our students a more enriching one. Because there is, of course, debates about do we still need schools, given that there is technology and all it can offer. Well, let me just say, in case it needs to be saying, I do very strongly believe that the School of the Future will continue to be a physical place where people get together and meet and have social experiences and so forth. But that's not to say that the School of the Future shouldn't also have a very significant technological dimension as well. And I'd just like to outline some of the reasons why I think technology is important in relation to education and in relation to schooling. I think technology, particularly as Antonio said at the beginning, modern mobile technologies have a lot of different characteristics that offer huge potential. One of them is around collaboration and communication. Clearly, those things are absolutely central to education. And if we just were to look at the way in which, in our everyday life worlds, we are communicating and interacting with others, very often we are making a very significant use of technology. So that would be one reason to consider technology. Secondly, technology allows us a degree of interactivity that traditional tools have not tended to afford us. And by interactivity, we can clearly think about the way in which the individual learner interacts with a body of knowledge, content, or tools, but also interacts with other learners who might not be co-located with them in the same place, but elsewhere. So there is, of course, challenges around the inherent non-linearity in the online material. So if we were to compare the structure of a web-based material and the structure of traditional books, we'd find that they are very different in the way in which they've been designed. And there's obviously a need to try and address the inherent challenges of that. But nevertheless, I think it's a considerable potential. Then, of course, what technology allows us is to reach into a much broader pool of knowledge that's distributed around the world and is also within people's heads. So technology allows us to get access to tacit knowledge that professionals, experts in the field carry around with them that might have not been documented in books and so forth. And we're able not just to access distributed knowledge, but we're also able to co-create knowledge with other human beings elsewhere, and not just within our classrooms. Then, of course, a lot has been said and continues to be said about what we might call a revolution in communication, which has seen a number of very important developments, for example, in terms of texts becoming intensively multimodal, comprising of images, of audio, of visuals, and as well as, of course, of the written word, and allowing us very new ways of combining expressing and visualizing a meaning and knowledge in that sort of way. And that's only something really technology offers us, and I think we should take that very, very seriously. Multimodality, therefore, I think is a very important element and reason for taking technology seriously. We could then say at the same time, authenticity is being made possible in new ways. We're able to contextualize material, situate material by being able to create new ways of interaction by learners with other learners, learners with, and so forth. And clearly also the way in which technology has developed to contain a whole wide range of functionalities in one device makes it very, very useful as a teaching and learning tool. In terms of ease of use, for example, if you are a language learner and you want to make use of dictionaries, you no longer have to carry some very heavy books around with you, but you're able to just click on words on a screen and able to get glosses from dictionaries that are either online or installed on your computer to help you make certain tasks easier. And then, of course, technology has become much more portable, much more ubiquitous, and much more personal in terms of ownership. We all tend to have quite sophisticated computers in our pockets, and why not use them for teaching and learning? And also not just generate content ourselves, and therefore change the sort of locus of control, but we're also increasingly able to generate contexts, new contexts for learning. So technology, in other words, makes possible new forms of classroom practice, and I think that's one of the important reasons why we need to consider them. It also makes possible a whole new range of classroom practices, the way in which we go about teaching and learning, and of course it makes possible a whole new range of learning practices. And the big challenge is, how are we going to implement this? How are we going to make this happen? And there is various people who've been thinking hard about this, and Puentedura, for example, has a very interesting model which looks to move from enhancement to transformation. So in other words, is the classroom of the future going to change immediately, radically?
I'm receiving the audio from Norbert.
All I basically wanted to say was that we obviously need to give some very serious consideration to how we're going to implement change, how we're going to make sure technology can become a meaningful, integral part of our teaching and learning. And one thing that I think is very important there, we do it in stages. We don't revolutionize the classroom overnight, but we look for evolution. An evolution that looks, in the first instance, at enhancing what we currently do. And there is, as I mentioned earlier, certain models. Puentedura, for example, has one where he offers substitution and augmentation as a first phase of enhancing what we currently do, and then working from there towards transformation, where we are seeing how we can actually modify what we've done, design tasks in new ways, do new things, and then move towards redefinition, where we really go about offering education in radically new ways. What I think we've got to be very careful about is, and research in the UK shows that, we can't just use technologies that are very effective in the world of everyday life, such as social media, and transplant them into classrooms without really analyzing the impact of that. So if you, for example, look at blogging, or if you look at text messaging, or if you look at those sorts of cultural practices which involve literacy work, which is also very important in school, you will find that the basic premise upon which these technologies have been built don't necessarily follow the logic of communication practices in school. So what we will need is not just bring in technology into schools and hope it's going to solve perceived or real problems, but that we're also going to look at what do we need to change in terms of our curriculum, in terms of our intended learning outcomes, in order to align those maybe more clearly to the affordances that technology can bring. And that's really all I wanted to say this morning. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Norbert. What I have to say about is this. The school of the future is today. We are facing the future. But the corner piece of all of this is the teacher. Teachers should be prepared to offer the best of ourselves, to make bridges between technologies and methodologies, in order to serve someone which is our client, the students. And I could speak much more, half an hour, 1 hour about this subject, but I think it will be quite boring. These strong ideas, I think they are very important. Norbert emphasizes them in a very clear way. So I think it's a must that we should reflect about this. Let's go in the next reflection, unless Eugenio or Magdalena want to say some comment as well.
Well, what I can say? I am a teacher from Medical University in the middle of Poland, and I agree with Antonio that the bridge between technologies and methodologies is very important. But when we think about the future school, we must remember about this bridge, but also about the practical part of the classes and about the individual courses and the individual contact. And what can be useful, for example, rapid e-learning, which is now not so often in our courses, but maybe in the future will be the solution for the very fast technologies, very fast communication. And it can be also important and help us to learn, to contact, and be in touch. That's from my side. Thank you.
Any other comment from the auditorium? If there is no comments, we go to the second reflection about this.